up people, welcome back to the channel. It's probably like the 4th or 5th time I've done this since about 2019. I was just saying to my man Lewis behind the camera, I think I've done like 50 videos in the last 3 years. But hey, we're gonna give you one a week from now on. I think literally I came out here in Dubai in December and then pretty much stopped YouTube. Loads of stuff with my dad, you know, the kind of transition of moving over here and, you know, new gyms, new people, you know, didn't have Sammy here, family's not here, and it's just, your whole kind of world turns upside down, to be honest, and it just kind of threw me out of my rhythm a little bit. But been out here for 4 months now, really enjoying it, you know, meeting lots of great people, training really hard now, training is going really well now. Like I said, things did just get out of rhythm for a bit, but had problems with my appetite, all sorts of shit man, all sorts of shit, but things are running smoothly now, so I'm gonna start getting back on this content, showing you guys what's going on. So currently right where we are now, sitting at around 104, looking just to continually creep up. Hopefully by the end of this month we'll be in the 105s. Kyle said we should be in a good position if we get to there. So still just putting the food away now, keep training hard. But I did injure my knee about 3 weeks ago, so that same meniscus tear that plagued me in the Poland prep, that came back. So the last 3 weeks I haven't been training legs, so I think last week was actually the first time I trained legs again. And that went pretty well. So today we're breaking legs up now, just to kind of reduce the load a little bit on either side. So we're doing quads one session, hams and glutes one session. So today is just going to be, it's pretty much my first glute and ham day. Just testing out the knee, so you're not going to see nothing crazy today. You're going to see a real life of a bodybuilder, not just shifting weights for the sake of shifting weights. Today I need to test the waters a little bit, see where my knee's at. There might be some exercises I can't do, or at the very least it might be like limited range of motion. So I'm just going to do what I can do today, get the blood in there. It's going to be nothing too crazy, to be honest. I'm going to try and take things to failure at the higher rep ranges if I can, so I can keep the load a little bit lighter, but we'll see. We'll let things unfold, and yeah, welcome back to the channel. Here we go, Banu's gym. I don't think I've even given you guys gym tour. I'm not gonna give you a full gym tour, but I'll give you an overview of the leg room. This is literally just the leg room. It's like an entire gym just for leg, like one room. There's probably like, I don't know, at least 50 bits of kit in here. They're actually making a mezzanine and putting even more kit in here, which is pretty ridiculous. So, yeah, Banu's today. This is where I've been training, like, well, I haven't trained at another gym since I've been here. It's the best gym, all the best equipment. So, and especially good because we're doing legs today, having a lot of different kit variation for me to choose from definitely helped because of the knee injury. So we're going to start off on lying hamstring, just see if we can, well, just see if I can do it first. I think I can. We might end up doing shoulders. I haven't hit them in a while, they're pumping up pretty quick. So I've done like 3 warm-ups, gonna do about three working sets here, just keep the tension on the hand. Like I say, today, it's not about loading the muscle, it's just about mind to muscle. So for me today, a working set is anything that's close to failure, you know, within 2 or 3 reps. I have to see how my knee feels, you know, I don't want to take every set's failure, but if it feels good and the blood gets in the knee, we'll see, I'll take it all the way. But so once I initially warmed up on the first exercise, a 2-3 warm up, every exercise thereafter that will probably only be like 1 feeler set, maybe 2, depending on if I'm gonna be lifting a bit heavier, like stiff legs when we do it later. So, don't actually know where I'm going next, people. That's the cool thing when you're just winging it. We're gonna go here, single leg, just felt it. It called to me. To be fair, some people, well, most people, say 90% of the people who train nowadays do have a structured plan, and I do have a plan. Obviously, I'm training with Carl, but he probably won't mind me saying, and he probably knows, that sometimes I have my main exercises that I'm working on, but more often than not, you know, I'm changing things around and just like feeling my way through the session. Kind of old school, if you want to call it old school, you know, the way Jay Cutler used to train Ronnie is how I kind of learned. Like, I do feel my way through a session, keep my rest period short, you know, 45, 60 seconds, minute and a half max normally, unless I'm doing a big quad set. But yeah, single leg hams, probably hit about 3-4 sets here. Isolate each leg, get some blood in there. The exercises I do across the board, not just hamstrings, you'll see me like pause a lot at the bottom, and it's not because I'm being a bitch. It's not because I'm trying to avoid the burn, it's because I'm trying to re-establish mind to muscle connection, you know. So when I'm holding it, I'm not just holding it relaxed, I'm holding the muscle in an open position with tension. So I'm trying to, like, sometimes when I'm going through the set, you know, you'll see I don't train as slow as other people. Some people you could say like I pump the reps. I always maintain tension. So sometimes if I feel like the tension's not as strong as it could be, I'll stop in the lengthened position, hold tension, and then just like reinitiate my mind.
Tell us how you establish what weight you're going to be using.
To be fair, when I'm like searching around for the right weight, it's just all about how I feel on the day. Obviously, I don't run my workouts with a logbook, you know. Cal tried to get me to go full logbook, you know, 5-toe Vibram wanker, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, I tried. So, like I say, the big movements, some particular movements per workout, I do track in my head, and I just know what I lifted last session. But when it comes to choosing the weights for the rest of the session, it's really based on how I feel on the day, you know.
How do you deal with the pain after leg day?
You don't deal with the pain after leg day. So like the morning after leg day, first thought in my head, sleep. Sleep, do nothing, stay in bed and fuck the day off. That's honestly my first thought. No. With leg dons, it's not something I do now in the off season. I'm not gonna bullshit you guys, but when I am prepping, I do try and generally do ice baths. That's always helped me in the past, and just general stretching. But again, I say that, but I don't always do it. So to be honest, the tips to get rid of leg dom is things like ice baths, stretching, you know, mobility work, doing simple things like warming down from a workout, foam rolling, all that stuff. You know, the modern era where we start treating ourselves like athletes, but unfortunately we're still just fucking iron bashers. We just want to lift weights and then get the fuck out of the gym and eat food. But it's what it is. So if you do struggle to feel your glutes and hamstrings on a barbell, I think a good tip is always come over to a Smith machine. I can push my hips back way further and keep the tension on my glutes and hamstrings. It's a lot more stable. Feels just way better. Get that feel, and then you can kind of transfer that feel over to the free bar. Right, you should want to sit down. So although I don't have the supplement tubs on me, what's in the bottle, man? So basically training, I run cluster dextrin. Obviously you guys know I'm with supplement needs. They're the best products in the industry on the market in the UK. I truly do believe in that. So the EAAs, electrolyte is my stack of choice. Cluster dextrin just to fuel the workout, you know, keeping them carbohydrates going in as you train definitely helps with the pump, also helps a little bit with recovery. EAAs again helps with recovery, initiate recovery. Electrolytes just help hydrate the muscle a little bit better so you can get better contraction, and that really does work. That's something that I never thought would make a huge difference, and fuck me, it makes a difference. The contractions were so much harder. You know, it feels like you're fucking pumping cement in the muscle. It was cluster dextrin, EAAs, electrolytes, get on it. So a little recap of the session so far. So just a shit ton of blood in the muscle, lying hands, isolated with single hands. There was so much blood in there after we sort of stretched it out with a stiff leg des, just trying to get that tension in the glutes and at the upper part of the hamstring, you know, like glute ham tying. Squeeze it back in now, some seated hands. We might actually do some high leg press and then just some adductor work, abductor work to finish. So probably this, a little bit of high leg press, not too heavy. Focusing on pushing the exercise through the glutes. A shin sweat. That's what happens when you don't rest for 4 minutes in between sets. I'll give you a tip though, when you're doing your...
all that cocoa bar, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. So when you're doing your seated hamstring curls, I always see people getting the setup a little bit wrong. So you always just want to have a look at your machine, have a look at where the pivot point is, so the point at which it pivots. So this is the pivot point. That's where you want to line your knee up with, and then you'll get the exercise perfect. better than I thought. The feel has been good, so that's the most important thing. Leg training is back. Hamstrings definitely something I need to bring up this season. Really trying to get that sweep on the hamstring, especially from the side chest. Well, it's only one shot shows the sweep, side chest, so really trying to get sweep for that shot. Get a little bit more thickness there. And also trying to build the quad sweeps up a little bit more. So it's very difficult to isolate the quad sweep. You know, when you're doing quad exercises, you're gonna hit the whole quad, but I don't care what no one says, there's definitely angles you can hit. The way you hold your feet placements, which we'll go through in future videos, that will help you emphasize the vastus lateralis, you know, the quad sweep, more than other parts of the quad. Back in the day, bodybuilders didn't do hip thrusts. I'm not saying it's bad to do. I've done them myself, but generally our guys used to build their glutes, which is kind of just pretty much what I still do today. It's just things like lunges, you know, obviously we do the RDLs, we do the hip hinges, lunges, split squats, stuff like that. But great one, high leg press, or high stance leg press, high feet. So first thing you want to make sure, if you're doing this, a lot of gyms have this Live Fitness 45-degree hammer strength. You want to make sure that the seat is set back. That way you'll get a much better stretch on your glute. If you have the seat forward, it puts a lot more knee flexion, hip flexion into the movement, so you get a lot more quad. So if you're trying to get your glute, you just want to have your feet nice and high on the pad, almost to the top. You'll see when you sit on this machine, you'll see where the bar, the peg that takes the weight, so you'll see that run from the center. I make sure I have my heels on that or even slightly above. And when you're going through the exercise, I just make sure that all the weight's coming through my heels. So there's only 4 plates a side. Obviously, you've got knee injury and keeping it, you know, moderate, but even so, if you just make sure all of the load is going through your heels, you'll keep that tension on the glutes and that sort of stretching the hamstring as well. It feels good after they're already pumped. Get that right. Gonna get a little bit of quad, but not a lot. With the foot placement, when you have the foot placement set like that, higher, and you've already got a lot of blood in your glutes and hand, and you have a good mind-to-muscle connection, this can be incredible for your lower glute insertion. It's not gonna get up higher, but it hits that lower glute insertion into the hamstring, which is what we're trying to work on. And especially when you're getting close to a prep, I think so. When you're getting close to a prep, I think a lot of guys struggle to get that tidy glute hamstring insertion, you know, to get that real clean and get the muscle hard. Exercises like this can help. 5 plates aside, that'll be enough for today.
People find it hard to motivate themselves for like leg day. How do you combat that?
To be honest, I don't think I'm ever initially motivated for leg day since I've started training. If you take the session as far as it needs to go, it's not nice. It's actually not. Even to this day, I fucking hate doing legs, man. Even Tom Platz, I've had the fortune to train with Tom Platz, and he said the same. He used to say, I hate training legs. And I'm so happy he said it, because I was always saying that before. Even though I had good legs at the time, I always say, oh man, I fucking hate training legs. But then when he said that, I was like, oh, that's great. He was like, some people love it, some people hate it. It doesn't really matter whether you love or hate it. It just matters to get the job done, you know? So when I'm trying to get motivated for leg day, more often than not, you know, I'm sticking on, like today I was watching Jay Cutler, Phil Heath do glute hamstring workouts before I came to do this session. Like, that's the truth. I still do that today, you know, especially on workouts where the motivation isn't there. And motivation isn't always going to be there, guys. Someone posted on my gram the other day, how do you get yourself motivated to train all the time? Truth is, I'm not motivated all the time. And the further I go into this thing, into bodybuilding, the more I find myself not motivated to train, because it does become a job. There's no way around it. Although this is what I love to do, and when I'm in it, I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. But there's many, many days where I don't have the drive, motivation to go to the gym. They're the days where discipline will carry you through, and your reason why, i.e. the end goal, becomes more important than the task at hand for that day, you know? So you just keep going, and then before you know it, make sure you love the journey. Before you know it, you'll be at your end destination. So that's pretty much it. Finish some abductors just to finish off the glutes. I think this one really helps with those side shots as well. Side chest, side tricep, just helps get that. Well, it helps get the glutes, man. I'm not very scientific with this, but I always feel this a lot more on the outer edge of my glutes, you know. I don't feel it so deep into the middle. I feel this a lot more on the side. 20 reps on here, man. 20 reps. Whenever I'm doing adductors or abductors, well, there's certain exercises you'll see. 20 reps just seems to be a good spot. This isn't really an exercise I'm bothered about, like trying to fuck myself up, like, ugh. It's not that. It's just details, you know, I am building muscle here, but it's like, I think it's more, you see these exercises come to fruition, shall we say, when you get on stage and you're dry as a bone. You'll see the guys who put in the extra work. And this is the extra work. Is shaking. I'm about to twerk. So, good session, good sesh. Recap, so like we said, the goal was not to fucking kill myself today, although things got a bit heavier than I thought they was going to go, which is good. So the knee's definitely feeling better, so it's just going to be one of the things that we're just going to have to progress each week. Like I said, I think load was probably at about 70% today, 60-70%, but we made up for it with sets. You don't always have to do top sets, back off sets and shit like that, guys. I know it works and it has its place, but sometimes time and a place for just feeling the muscle, hitting set, getting the blood in there, and focusing on mind to muscle connection. You know, sometimes you can hit failure as a result of stronger mind to muscle connection and shorter rest periods. Like literally, you know, it's like quite often I have guys train with me and they can't lift what they normally lift because their rest times are a lot shorter, and we make sure that the mind to muscle connection is a lot stronger. We pre-fatigue the muscle, things like that. I'm not saying it's the only way, but I'm saying keeping your mind open to, you know, possibilities of new styles of training, because this shit works as well, you know. So we basically started off on lying hamstring curls, just get the blood in there. That was going to be the main exercise, just to see if I could even do the session. Otherwise it's going to be shoulders, honestly. But they went well. 3-4 working sets there. I think 3 working sets there. The last set being what you guys would call a true working set, where it actually went to failure. Single leg curls. After that, just isolate individually each leg. Get a really good squeeze when I'm doing them. I get a really good squeeze on them. Just make sure you're driving that hip into the pad. When you got that glute contracted initially, when you come up and you get that hamstring contraction, it's an even tighter squeeze than if you didn't have the glute extended or contracted. On from there, once the blood was there, stretched it all out, you know, focus on a little bit more glute hamstring insertions on the Smith machine RDLs. Definitely a great one to do if you're struggling to get that feel on dumbbells or barbells. Smith is definitely a good way to go. Again, not too heavy, couple working sets there, a few working sets, just increasing the weight each time. And then after that, seated hamstring curls, squeeze it back in, again on the hamstrings, on the seated hamstring curl, just make sure that your knees are lining with the pivot point of the machine. Something I see a lot of people do wrong. About 3 working sets there, moved on to a little bit of more glute work. So higher foot position on the leg press definitely works well for the glutes. Just make sure you're keeping the load in the heel. You don't need to go too heavy or the quads will take over. And then just finish off with some adductors, 3 sets, 20 reps, high reps always works, and actually get a pump. So yeah, that's the workout. Alright guys, so that's it from me today. There's going to be more videos coming. I promise you. I promise. I'm back on YouTube. This is going to happen. I'm going to be consistent this time, all the way until, well, forever. I'm going to stay on YouTube now. Alright guys, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip, motherfuckers.